Wins and widths. What is tonight's topic?
Tonight's topic is I am going to sleep because I got to wake up in 6 hours. So
yeah, I think I'm starting off too. So I think you guys.
What?
Later.
All right. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Welcome to another episode of Five Idiots Talking Toys. It is time for another podcast episode. We have a fresh topic tonight. We have a special guest joining us. Charles is getting ready for bed. He's getting his pajamas on right now. He has to work super early in the morning. So in his place, we have Mr. Adam Chitwood. He's doing the Emperor spin. What's up, Adam?
Oh, good to see you there, mate. How are you?
Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. Let's bring in, let's bring in your fellow Georgian, Mr. John Walden. Good evening, John.
Where's your tech hat?
Yeah, you're what are they the Hornets, the Bumblebees? What are
Shut up.
No, seriously, what's the mascot?
We're the Ramlarek George Tech Yellow Jackets.
Yellow Jackets. I knew I had the logo in my head. I just couldn't remember what it was. Chris, have you ever bet on the Yellow Jackets?
No, but I bet on the Atlanta Braves to lose all the time. That's why they're always sad, the two of them.
I'm glad you're winning.
It's been a tough year.
It's been a tough couple of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, out of all the teams that could have a couple of tough years, the Braves can afford that. I feel like, they've had a lot of success. Even in seasons where you didn't win the World Series, I mean, you've had a lot of great seasons with a lot of great players, you know.
And the great thing is, like, we don't spend half the money the Yankees don't spend, and y'all still finish.
Still lose.
Right.
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree. And Atlanta is a big city, but there's a lot of decent sized cities out there that aren't necessarily called small markets, but don't have anywhere near the success that New York, LA, Atlanta. Who else?
Nobody in Atlanta is from Atlanta anymore.
Chicago.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
Chicago.
Hey, can I interject real quick? Adam, you're gonna have to come up to a Lookouts game next year when we open the new stadium. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah,
I've heard. Yeah.
Yep.
I love.
Now that's field hockey, or what is that?
The minor league baseball team.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
It's cricket.
Look out!
And there's Brandon.
Look out! Hi. There's Brandon.
Hi.
We
don't do field hockey here.
What's is it an independent league, John, or is it affiliated?
No, it's affiliated with the Reds, I believe.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's the Reds.
Yeah.
All right, Shane, get on with it before Chris starts yelling at you.
Yeah, I know. I asked the question. All right, so tonight's topic is reissues in the toy hobby. Going back as far as you want to, we can take the conversation wherever, but certainly reissues have become a huge thing with modern toy lines. The toy companies are looking for any way that they can just print some money. And they're looking for any way to get a second life, a third life out of the proprietary molds they have, the packaging, maybe they'll repackage, but whatever they can double or triple up on, if they have a mold for, a 6-inch Anakin Skywalker, they don't care if it's selling for $110 at one point. They'll reissue it for $19.99. And, what does that do to the market? Do majority of collectors like that? Is it really more for the casual collectors? What do, serious collectors, completionists think about that? So let's throw it out to the group. Feel free to share any recollections of reissues and any thoughts you have, how it's affected your collection.
Well, something that I've noticed recently is they had the 20th anniversary of Marvel Legends figures a few years ago, and they had, I think, Captain America, the Incredible Hulk, and there were a couple other figures. Well, they're re-releasing the Captain America figure. So, it was, the secondary market, it was climbing. It was at least twice the value as it was before, but now, it's if you collect for like value, or say, hey man, this is awesome. Even if you're not collecting for value and you say, this is great, I paid this for it, it's worth this much. Now it's worth whatever the retail value is. But they're doing that with the Spider-Man figures now too, that I've noticed. They're reissuing a lot of the old Spider-Man figures.
What do you mean old? Like which ones?
Well, the retro, well, they're not old, but like they're the retro, oh gosh, Marvel Legends figures, the retro Spider-Man figures. So some from like the first wave that they came out, you can go to the store right now at Walmart and get one. And it looks exactly the same card, same figure, same mold.
Oh, they didn't even repackage it.
It's not even repackaged. It looks like the original one, yeah. So
Okay.
So like Rhino, I think is one. J. Jonah Jameson is another one.
Jenna Jameson? Damn.
That's what
J.
I
Jonah Jameson.
I'd pay for a remake of her.
And let's see, the Kingpin. Those are the major ones, and they used to sell for anywhere between $75 to $100 a piece.
Wow.
And now they're at Walmart. The bigger ones, like the Kingpin, is huge.
It's huge.
I showed him on here.
Yeah.
Now they're $39.99 at Walmart.
So is there anything discerning on the packaging that lets you know it wasn't the release of the first wave? Is there like a date on it or anything?
I think there's a date. I haven't haven't really looked at it completely, but it's the same packaging, right? Yeah. It's the same print, everything. I think the date may be different, but nobody cares.
Yeah, at that point, if it's identical in every way, what is the 2019 versus the 2025 going to do?
Yeah, exactly. So, and they're doing the same thing with the X-Men 97 figures. The ones that came out last year, they're re-releasing them again. They're reissuing them again. So
they have nothing else. They have nothing else better to do but to just kill toys.
No, they don't, because they don't release. What's a movie that just came out? Predator Badlands, right? That just came out in the theater. There's no toy line for that. When back, if this were in the 80s and the 90s, there would be a toy line for that.
Yeah, right.
And now there's just no toy line for anything new coming out. They're just remaking all this old stuff. And because it's tailored towards collectors, it's not even tailored toward kids anymore. So, we already had a discussion.
Kids don't play with action figures, so that's the. Most kids don't play with action figures anymore.
Well, I think that toy companies used to not shy away from R-rated or PG-13 rated movies. Like you guys have shown some toys back from the 90s that I was surprised they even made.
RoboCop.
I'm like, I get that the toy would appeal to a kid if he saw it, but then you turn. Same thing. Today's version is Deadpool, right? Like kids love Deadpool, but they don't even know Deadpool because they haven't seen the movie. And if you're a parent who's shown your kids Deadpool and they're under 13 years old, shame on you. It's filthy, like for kids. It's very sexual in terms of what they say and everything. So I would not let my kids see that no matter how much they begged until they were old enough. But yet kids wear Deadpool t-shirts, there's Deadpool toys. So yeah, when you guys were showing me, R-rated stuff, even Rambo, I'm sure Rambo is rated at least PG-13. I don't know if there was PG-13 then, but
well, the Rambo figures are based on the cartoon.
Okay, right.
It was a cartoon.
But now I think toy companies are much more particular about what they'll look to license and make toys for, because toys don't sell as well anymore.
I don't even know what they're producing. Five Nights at Freddy's figures.
Skibidi Toilet.
Skibidi Toilet. They did do the Ninja Turtles. They issued the new Ninja Turtles for the Mutant Mayhem. They did that.
They did the Five Nights at Freddy's, and this was a couple years ago now. I was in the aisle. It was like the Star Wars aisle at the time. Barely anything in there at Target. This was maybe
the
like
Jurassic
3 years
Park
ago.
ones.
Kids were in the aisle with their parents, freaking out, and I didn't know what Five Nights at Freddy's was at the time. It was before the movie even came out. Those figures were based on the video game. And I didn't know what it was. And so I'm like, man, there's multiple kids now freaking out. And so I think they've probably done really well with those. And now there's another movie coming out.
Correct.
So,
yeah, I mean, they've done the Super Mario, the Sonics, the Jurassic Parks.
Those are safe, though, right? Like, those are really safe. But those are big brands.
But then again, they're remaking. It's the same figure over and over. How many Sonics are you going to buy? I mean,
Well,
they're not producing any new lines, any new movie lines or TV shows.
Yeah,
I just don't see them making a Predator Badland figure. You know, like, I think that the movie just came out a week ago, and it's been a surprise hit.
NECA would, and that's probably it after that.
Right. Like, I think the movie, they didn't know if it would be well received or not, and I think it's been a surprise success so far.
Yes,
but not to the point where they're going to make toys from it.
Reaction might, NECA might, but maybe that's about it.
Yeah, smaller.
You know, I mean, back when they were making Last Action Hero figures back in the 90s. I mean, remember those guys? I mean, my God, that movie was terrible, and they made those action figures. You know, so I just think it's funny that the amount of stuff they used to produce back in the day, and now
But I think that's why a lot of those toy companies probably went out of business and got bought out, because they were making toy lines for every movie that came out. And besides for Star Wars, G.I. Joe, and all the mainstream ones, they failed on the rest of them and probably lost money.
Right, and those long-standing franchises like G.I. Joe is what you're making me think of. If they come out with a new movie, a Snake Eyes movie, or whatever, whatever they've come out with in the last 15 years, one of the toy companies will jump on making toys for that, because they know that's a built-in audience, even if the movie sucks. Like, they know that there's G.I. Joe fans out there.
They already have.
Yeah, so those are like no-brainer. And in Jurassic World too, I've gone through all of them just in the last 2 months with my kids, like the new ones, like all 3 or 4 of them that are out, and they love them. And they're enjoyable action movies. They're not fantastic, but yeah, I mean, they'll sell those toys because it's Jurassic, it's dinosaurs.
So one of the reissues. So John brought up the reissues of the exact same figure. The other reissue that they're starting to come out with, which I kind of enjoy. Speaking of Jurassic Park, they came out with the 1993 Hammond Collection. I think.
Mm-hmm.
So they reproduced. Remember Jurassic Park toys back in the 90s that were kind of like,
I know,
wonky looking. They were like
chunky.
They didn't look like the movie characters at all. They were just kind of bigger, and they used to come with like a harpoon gun and weird stuff that never was in the movie.
Yeah.
And now they're reissuing the figures, but they'll be in a little box, and like Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum character, like they will actually release a figure that looks like him, that has glasses and comes with like a pyrotechnic or a flare or whatever. I don't think it comes with that, but anyway, it actually looks like the guy, and I was like, oh man, this is pretty cool looking, But they in Laura Dern, they released her, and then the old man, they released him as like a special thing for Comic-Con and all that, and those figures actually look pretty nice. And they're more to scale, and they actually look like the characters themselves. So that's a reissue, I would say, that I actually enjoyed, was that they actually came out with better figures for that movie. But again, no kids are going to play with that because
they make a Dennis Nerdley figure?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I buy that one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Holding like a Butterfinger.
He's got a can of Barbasol, probably.
A can of Barbasol or whatever. Yeah.
See, I at least in this context, I wouldn't think of that as a reissue. I would think of that as a reimagining of the figures, or basically just a new toy line. I mean, basically a new Jurassic Park toy line.
Kind of like the new Mask figures that are coming out.
Or, I mean, think about the Indiana Jones figures, right? Like, those were meant to be another release of those figures in very similar looking packaging. It was supposed to be retro feel. Were the figures molded the same or were they modernized?
They were molded almost the same.
Yeah.
So it's kind of it's the same as the retro collection for Star Wars.
Yeah, it was the same as a retro collection.
Okay. So
I think
those are a little different.
I think a majority of these toy companies need to stop living in the past and thinking that these toy companies are going to be like these humongous companies making all this money, because I don't think any toy company will ever be like that ever again. I was going to say either A, they're not making toy lines for these movies because they're not going to sell and they're not making money, but B, the ones that they're actually killing the market for that brand. They're actually, so either way, they're kind of screwed. Like they're never going to, like Hasbro is never going to be as big as it was back in the day. Like same thing with Kenner and Mattel and all these companies. Like they will never be that big company anymore because like, look at the TVC line. Look at Ahsoka. Ahsoka was selling for almost $2,000, the original figure, and then they reissued her. And even though it's a little bit different, whatever, her figure dropped to like $100, $70 maybe. Like that thing drops.
Yeah, I have one. I can't even sell it.
Yeah. So like those things dropped so fast.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a good point because I get a kick out of as soon as they, especially on the Star Wars reissues, as soon as they release, especially the box sets that come with like 5 or 6 carded figures in one box, everybody's out looking at Walmart, Target, trying to find them, or they're paying scalper prices on eBay. If I want them, I wait 3, 4, 5 months. I get them for under cost at what they originally sold.
Clearance,
yeah, weren't they like $16 for the box set? I think somebody had found one or whatever on clearance. Somebody sent us a picture of it. 16 for the 5. I still passed.
I just don't see any of these huge toy companies ever becoming huge ever again because kids in general just do not play with toys or action figures. It is a dying breed. So you come out with a new toy line in a movie and it's most likely going to fail. Not all of them, but most of them do. Or you just keep reissuing the same garbage over and over again and killing that particular market.
Well, they've seen that they're doing the same thing with the movies too. They keep reissuing the same damn movies and remaking movies and adding all these different sequels and prequels and building on these old stories that just need to die already.
Like now they have Gremlins 3 coming out. Like I'm excited for it. I love Gremlins.
I am too.
But is it going to be good? Like I don't know. Like Christopher Columbus is going to be back doing it, and Spielberg and all these guys. Fantastic. But
Goonies, right?
It's the remaking.
So.
Well, I had a proclamation like a year and a half ago, and my friends locally murdered me for it. I said, I just watched Gremlins for the first time in a handful of years, and I love Gremlins. I said that movie does not hold up. No, it is so outdated. Goonies 1000% holds up.
Predator holds up.
Gremlins is so it comes off as a bad movie now. Like if you were to watch it for the first time, you'd be like, what the hell is this? Yeah. It's totally an 80s movie. It doesn't hold up, but we still love Gremlins.
Best Christmas movie ever.
Well, that's Die Hard.
Yes.
That's what you're talking about.
I knew Shane was going to say that.
Yeah, Die Hard's my Christmas Eve movie.
We all knew that.
Yeah.
Well, so something I'm thinking about is we were reading recently some reports about Hasbro and Mattel and financials have been coming out. The big thing right now, which I don't think any of us really know much about, but this K-pop Demon Hunters is humongous.
Yeah.
My kids know all the words to every song. And we went over to some friend's house for Halloween, and all the kids that were there, they put it on the screen. Every kid there's like 20 kids, all knew every word to every song. And so I don't remember if it was Hasbro or Mattel, but one of them is got the license. They're in the middle of producing the figures, the toys right now. And they're going to be, if they're not out already, they're going to be out any day because they're talking about it figuring into the fourth quarter. So I got to believe they are going to have gangbusters with these K-pop Demon Hunters toys.
That will be big.
But you notice how they didn't make the toys to coincide with the movie. They waited until the movie was a hit and then jumped in.
Then did it, yeah.
So
and then that can lead to that disadvantage too, because then by the time the toy line comes out, it kind of dies down a little bit. Like
I don't want to see it. No one's
right.
gonna
Well,
buy it.
now they have to work with whoever, Netflix or whoever the production company is. They came out with the sing-along version. There's some like sing-along thing on Netflix where you could just see the songs. Well, they've got to work with Netflix and say like, hey, get on it and make another one of these things, which I'm sure Netflix is already doing. But they got to keep the train moving now that they're going to have all this merchandise. But that's kind of a rare instance. And the other thought I was having is obviously Hasbro and Mattel have a lot of success. I don't know what new toy lines they've come up with the last few years that have done well. I don't know if that's something that we could read about, but the toy companies that have done well in my children's lifetime in the last 10 years are the companies that come out of nowhere and create their own market. So all those surprise toys where you had to, buy an egg and you open it up and there's a bunch of crap inside. Yeah. All the what are those dolls?
Hotmart.
LOL dolls.
Oh, okay, with the Labubus or whatever.
Oh, yeah, all of those. Those are made by companies. I can't even remember the name. They're made by a company who came up with that idea. They weren't a big toy company, and they've since sold billions of dollars worth of these toys, and have made a huge success out of themselves. But it took somebody to come along and come up with a new idea to kind of spur on all that selling.
But none of these companies will be around, they have a huge peak, but then they just drop. And once the fad, it's all faddish. Yeah. So once the fad is done, like everybody's on this Labubu fad and everything, but I give it another year, and
that's why these toy companies just need to realize that they're not going to be these humongous big corporations making tons of money. Right. They have to kind of stay small within their wheelhouse, realizing that they're going to have a one-hit wonder every once in a while, and then they're going to have 9 fails.
Oh, right. Like, don't expand so quickly because you're going to blow all of your earnings trying to keep growing. And then you're going to be left with nothing. You're going to be bankrupt.
Labubu's is like the number one faked item right now that you can buy anywhere for like $5. I'd rather
buy them at flea markets.
Yeah. I was like, the kids wanted Labubu's. I was like, I'm not buying them here at Comic-Con for $60. I was like, I bought them at the flea market for $5 each. They don't know the difference.
Well, do you guys remember? Do you guys remember the Rad board? Remember the Rad board? It was in
Sorry, John. We're not 78.
It wasn't 70. It was in some movie. I can't remember what the name of the movie was, but the guy that invented the Rad board was from this area, and
everybody that John talks about always from Georgia.
From Georgia.
Like he's like, it's from Chattanooga. Like, is there anyone that you know that was maybe, I don't know, invented it from like Jersey or
That's my frame of reference. That's
right. And before he invented this toy, he worked at the Little Debbie factory.
Correct, yes.
I'm not sure what he did. I think he was a postman. But anyway, it was a skateboard that had 3 decks on it and handlebars on it, and you could ride it like a scooter, and then you could also ride it like a skateboard and all this other stuff.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I know exactly what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
Now I do.
Well, so he made this Rad board, and it was selling everywhere, right? For like one Christmas. They built this manufacturing company in Fort Oglethorpe, and within a year after the manufacturing company was built, they tanked because they were doing exactly what you said, about like some of these toy companies do. Yeah. They're expanding. They were selling toys that for their mascot. They were selling shirts, all this other stuff, and they thought they were going to blow up, and they just imploded instead of exploding.
Yeah, it's sad. Like, it's actually sad to see that. I don't want it to happen, but that's just the nature of
you got
the problem is once you have a hit in the market, you've already got to be like halfway down the pipeline with the next thing.
The next thing, yes. Not the same thing, just retooled. Yeah.
Right. And that's harder than even coming up with the first thing.
Yeah,
as hard as that is.
Yeah.
How do you predict what these kids will want today? It's the craziest stuff. I mean, the Labubus.
And K-pop Demon Hunter. My grandkids were talking about that, and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
I mean, back in the 70s and 80s, you could somewhat predict it by the success of a TV show or a movie or something, because that's what a lot of it was based off of, or a comic.
Right.
Now it's just, I don't know. I guess I'm old. I don't get it.
Well, to bring this back around to, Star Wars, for example, my experiences were, with the modern toy lines, they would re-release the exact same figure at sometimes in the same packaging, but most of the time they'd release it in different packaging. Mm-hmm. So then, it wasn't like publicly announced. It wasn't part of the, packaging but you would hear, oh, they slightly retooled the face. Like they made the face a little bit more realistic, or they have better paint apps on this. And I'm talking about, 2015, 16, 17, like not that long ago, but they would re-release these figures. And then you guys remember with the 40th anniversary, they were re-releasing the exact same figures instead of in boxes, on card backs. Mm-hmm. And it was cool because they were vintage style card backs, but larger. I could understand doing that with a select number of 12 figures or so to celebrate a big anniversary. But to then come a year later and release the same figures again on a plainish black and gray card back and call it the... What do they call it? Archive collection. And now you're just being blatant, where you're just trying to sell more of them.
Yeah.
And there's some completionists who say, all right, I'll buy it again and to be in it, but they must do some toy what do you guys think about the research that they must do? They must decide that if we reissue this figure on a black card back, we're going to sell X amount. And it's better to sell those than it is to damage the market for collectors who we rely on.
Kenner got away with doing this back in the day by releasing the same Darth Vader on every single card back, possibly for 9 years in a row.
And Chewbacca
all those figures, they got away with doing it because it was a huge hit. Toys had just started coming onto the market. People still think that that's what it's going to be like, and it's just not.
Right, and they sort of invented something there. They didn't do it to reissue those. I mean, I'm
at least Darth Vader was in all three movies.
It's in all three movies, and you had new kids with each movie.
When you have a Bespin guard
that were buying the toys for the first time.
That never existed,
or Snaggletooth on Return of the Jedi,
or anything on a Return of the Jedi that wasn't even in the movie. It's just kind of.
That's what I mean. So, they kind of got away with doing it because it worked. It worked hugely for them.
Well, that's the thing is, I am the perfect age to have gotten some Star Wars figures, maybe on Empire cards, but I don't think so. I think I got them all on Jedi cards because I was, 5 years old when the movie came out. There were kids all over the country, just like me, same age, who were watching the first two movies on VHS at home or on TV when they were broadcast, and then seeing the movie, and that was, seeing Jedi, and it was their first movie. We wanted all the figures. We wanted Snaggletooth. We wanted, the Bespin Guard. We didn't care what card back it came on. That was Kenner's way of continuing to produce them and make them available 3 years later to the new young kids.
But to go back to Chris's point, none of these kids are watching this stuff and wanting to play with these toys anymore. They're more concerned with YouTube and crap on there. So, they don't watch these movies and want the toys.
Back then, a movie can come out and you can wait 3 years and the hype would still be the same 3 years later for a movie. Kids these days, their attention span is gone within 15 minutes. You cannot wait 3 years. You can't even wait 1 year. The hype is gone. It's done. So
they started. What's that?
I was going to say, you can't build off the success of a brand anymore because the kids are at it.
It's replaced so quickly. That's the cycle that is new. Right.
They just started that with so the perfect example of that is the Mutant Mayhem Ninja Turtles figures. when the movie had just come out, they released the figures that, my son was totally into them, loved the figures. And I thought they were really cool figures. I thought they were really well done. And I was like, these are really cool. So I was like, I'm going to buy him each one when it comes out in waves. Well, by the time the last wave came out for the different villains and stuff in the movie,
Brandon collects them now.
He was done. He had already moved on. He was like, I don't want these toys anymore.
Of course,
and I'm like these toys are amazing.
He moved on to 6 different movies and 6 different toy lines already.
He was like, I don't want any more.
Because there's too much. There's so much between social media and YouTube and Netflix and all this stuff. Everyone has their own thing going on. It's the same joke during Christmas, right? I'm sure you guys have all experienced this with your kids. Your kids can get 50 gifts to open up, but the one gift that entertains them is like the wooden airplane that costs $1 and they're flying it around the house.
Not even that. It's the cardboard box.
Yeah, but the $400 bike that they just got that they wanted so bad they don't even care about.
Yeah. No, they want the box that the bike came in so they can make a Ford out of it.
Yeah. So,
well, the big difference about what you guys are talking about is back then, obviously movies came out every month, every week there was a new movie, but back then there's no streaming.
No.
You couldn't order a movie. You couldn't even easily go and rent movies. That was more in the early 90s. I feel like that became as widely available. When you were a kid in 1983, 84, 85, you had a handful of VHSs. Whatever you had, you watched those every other day.
I had pirated copies of every good movie that was out there. Back to the Future and Star Wars, and they were never original. They were literally recorded off the TV with commercials and everything. I mean, no, we didn't have any of that stuff back then. You know what I did the other day? I deleted YouTube off the main TV in my living room to keep my son and my daughter from gluing themselves to YouTube. I said, that's it. I walked in, I was like, that's it. No more of this garbage. Ben and Cam and whoever these other idiots are on there. I'm like, that's it. I deleted it.
Shane saw the first Star Wars movie back in 1977. He was glued. He remembers the exact moment he went. Do you know that for 3 years straight, he remembers sitting home every day just waiting for for Empire to come out? He remembers. He just sat there waiting.
I watched it from the womb in 77.
He remembers. He was watching Return of the Jedi downstairs. He told Billy D. Williams this. He was watching Return of the Jedi downstairs while his mom was upstairs getting some.
Making a baby. Making a baby. My mom tells me this like 5 or 7 years ago, randomly, she's over for a holiday and she's telling this story like I'm not in the room. And she's like, telling my wife or something, when my kids were a little bit younger. She's like, oh, back in my day, we could just put on a VHS tape and he'd be occupied for 2 hours. How do you think we had time to make his sister? We used to put on Star Wars and go upstairs and have adult time. And I'm like, whoa, God, why are you telling me this? You ruined Star Wars. What are you doing?
And he told Billy D. Williams this, and Billy D. Williams'
was shook.
Response was, "That's sick."
Yeah, he was shook. He was shook.
That's sick.
and then I was like, well, no, she wasn't just
that's sick.
No, I think it was the more the less dirty version. There was a plan there to have another baby. It wasn't just party time. All right, so
I don't think there's a right or wrong answer, and I think that they're damned if they do and damned if they don't. I honestly think being a toy company in today's world is terrible.
You got to do what you got to do.
If you want to target the collectors, we suffer from the peg warmers today. You go to Walmart, Target, there's always these peg warmers. They're just not selling. If I was a toy company, because I know how people think, that people love to gamble, that's one thing. I would seal figures like they do those little bitty box things, like for Stranger Things and all that. And, when you buy a figure, you don't know which one you're getting. And there's chase figures and all that.
Oh.
I'm not saying I would like it as a collector. I'm saying people love to gamble like that. same way with like sports cards. They want to, I want to go after that figure that's 1 in 100 and all that. People rip them open just to see what they get.
Those brick figures that I collect, they are in those little boxes. They're like little 3-inch figures, and those have chase figures. Now, the picture of the characters on the outside, so you do know what character you're buying, but like 1 out of 20 or 25 is a chase. So you might be buying in ERG, and there's a picture of a red guard on the outside. You open that up, and like 1 out of 25 is a blue Senate guard. Okay. Or whatever the blue one is called, sure. And so those are worth 5 or 10 times as much. So that is fun. I mean, I like the idea that you at least know what you're buying. It's not totally blind.
I like the old
fly off the shelf.
I like the old school chase where it's like the short packed figure is the one you're looking for. The one that's in there once. And the other figures, there's like 2 or 3 of each one of the other figures. Yeah. There's only one figure in there.
These alien reaction figures, if you turn them on the side, they show you which there's the chase ones and which ones are, there's 4 of.
Isn't there a blood, like an acid blood one?
Yeah, acid blood, 3 per case, Nebula Nightmare, cool. 4 per case, Rage, 4 per case, and then Ghost, 1 per case.
The problem is that people buy the rare ones or the more scarce ones, and then they'll leave the other ones to.
I bought that one, and I got this really cool red looking one. So I was happy with the red one. So yeah, I don't know. I like that. I mean, but I'm not gonna go crazy and buy 12 of these to get the rare one out of there. I just don't care. I just buy one already.
Well, we're sitting here as collectors, and we're thinking that collectors kind of rule a certain large section of the toy universe these days, but it must not be true. They must sell more toys. If they did the research, they must sell more toys to what they consider, just random shoppers, gift buyers, whatever, than collectors. Because if you're going to keep reissuing figures in a toy line over, it's a toy line that runs years, you're going to turn off collectors who will go. I know they don't care about the secondary market, but that does feed into the overall picture. The collectors who will go into the secondary market and pay $60 for a $20 toy, they're the ones who are dying to get that new wave when you put a new wave out, and they're going to buy all 8 of them or whatever it is. But they're not idiots. They must do some research and they just decide, hey, we're going to reissue these toys and we're going to sell a bunch of them. And damn the collectors. They don't buy the most or something. I don't know. Because why would you want to ruin the value of the toys that collectors are collecting? Some collectors collect for the joy of it. Some collectors are completionists. They want to have a whole line of something. But some really do see it as an investment of some sort. And I know that sounds funny with modern toys. That's a silly route to go, thinking that it's an investment. But when you do buy into a series, maybe you jump in late and you got to go back and buy the ones that you missed, and you're paying 2, 3, 4 times the cost for them. And then all of a sudden, all those figures are re-released. As a collector, I sit there and I'm like disgusted. I'm like, I'm done with this. I'm done. They've screwed up. I had a valuable collection. They screwed the whole thing up. I'm not going to they keep raising the prices. I'm not going to keep buying more and more and more so that they can, sell more, 2 years from now, cheap again.
It's a marketing thing. Hasbro doesn't make any more money if something goes up in value on the secondary market. They don't care.
Right.
They're just going to keep releasing them until as long as people still buy them.
AFA on
is there a trickle down effect though? Does that keep collectors more interested in continuing to collect a toy line?
Yeah, I'm sure that they're balancing on a really weird tightrope,
But that's why I say they must have done the research and said, "Hey, damn the collectors, we need to sell more toys."
Yeah.
But it's like, Hasbro and Mattel, is that where they make their bread and butter anymore with action figures? Or are they making it elsewhere, like board games and dolls? And
Hasbro's got a big franchise with Dungeons and Dragons. Mattel's got a lot of board games.
Mattel had Barbie.
Yeah.
They have Barbie, they have Monster High, they have all these different things nowadays. I mean, Mattel's making Hot Wheels, and
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Mattel's fine. I think because they have a lot of different things. I think Hasbro is so centered on remakes right now with all the. They are the leader in remakes.
Ghostbusters.
Hasbro is such a has-been.
If it came out in the 80s, Hasbro will make it again.
Yeah, has been Hasbro. That's what that's their new name.
Yeah,
But as far as like,
Mattel is sectioned off, like different lines of business, like their whole American Girl doll thing. That's one standalone business within.
Is that Mattel?
That's Mattel.
Wow. Okay. So but they must have bought them at some point, right?
I'm not sure. I just know that because they're a client of mine.
Okay.
Mattel is?
Yep.
Tell them they fucking suck and I hate them.
well,
I was
Hasbro,
excited when I was going to get to go to like one of their warehouses and everything, and it's like, man, I'm nerding out. And it was the American Girl doll stuff. I'm like, that sucks.
Oh god.
yeah.
They're
Well,
exclusive
didn't Hasbro
for Comic-Con are
recently-
complete bullshit.
Do what?
I said they're exclusive for Comic-Con are complete bullshit.
Well, they're not really exclusives. I mean, we talked
No,
about this.
they're not.
They have them at a Comic-Con, and then an hour later, they're on the website.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they're freaking sold out within 2 seconds, and it's like, why don't you just make enough so that everybody can actually buy one, or make them in
that's the thing.
advance? Make them in order them in advance, and then produce them based on the amount of people that want them. Back to the Future DeLoreans. That's the one that I wanted. I didn't get. That's the one that I'm kind of pissed off about still, because they're still going for like $150 to $200 on eBay when it was a $40 item. It's like, if you would have, Back to the Future ain't going anywhere. That's been around forever. You know, that you can literally make those to order and people would buy them. And so that to me is Mattel missing out on an item that they could have sold more of to people that actually want them. And now everyone's just scalping them on eBay, making 3 times the amount of what they went for. And they could have just sold more to people who actually wanted to buy them and enjoy them. But they do that every year.
There must be a lot of factors that we're just not aware of, because there's an example. Some things they want to be limited and very exclusive, and some things they make so much of they're just falling all over the floor in the toy store.
Like Hot Wheels. I wonder how much it costs them to make a Hot Wheels.
Oh my god, it's got to be like
$1.25,
$5.
$1.29.
Yeah, they're still pretty cheap. That's crazy.
That's the cheapest toy you will buy.
Yeah,
right now.
True.
Is the Hot Wheels.
I was on like Kohl's had a toy coupon last week, like $10 off of 50, and I was just like, I clicked on it and it showed me like whatever, I was off of there in 2 seconds, but there were a couple of Hot Wheels things that came up at the top of the list, and it was like a 5-pack of Hot Wheels was like $6.
Yeah,
and I was like, Jesus, these are like $1 a piece, like. It really is the cheapest toy out there. If you have a young kid who's into Hot Wheels, like, that's, you could be a superhero getting a number of those.
And let me tell you what, Hot Wheels, you're talking about toys that, another topic, toys that'll die off when that generation dies off, like tin toys and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Hot Wheels has, I don't know, people in their 70s and 80s probably still collecting them, all the way down to kids. Yeah, I mean, the amount of people that are at Walmart and Target scouring the pegs looking for the chase car or ones out of their collections. I mean, I see people of all ages searching through those constantly.
You make a good point. That might be the longest running toy line in history. I mean, it
appeals to everyone, and it's going to continue appealing to everyone because they're always releasing new cars and new things.
65 was the first year for Hot Wheels.
Was it 60?
Whenever the first year they made red lines was.
I thought it was
I thought it was earlier than that, but I could be totally wrong.
I know. Well, Matchbox was way before them.
Okay,
but I'd have
all right. Well, let's wrap this puppy up. Yeah. Brandon, what are you reaching for over there?
Hot Wheels.
I have a Hot Wheels book.
Oh, okay.
Of course it does.
Collector's book.
Of course it does.
68.
68. You know what Adam Chitwood has? He has the internet. It's faster than a collector's book.
1968. This was the year it all began.
Brandon said 68. You hear that?
The very first Hot Wheels production model was a custom Camaro.
Correct.
Oh, really? That's a trivia question.
Some of those, Redlines have got value, but there's some like rare combination colors and stuff like that that are like big dollars.
Well, so the pink Spectra Flame, the pink Spectra Flame ones are the ones that usually go for the most, and that's because they made them in that color to try to appeal to girls, and it didn't really work out so well. So they're kind of a big flop. So they didn't mass produce those too much. So if you do find some of those, like there was a guy that found a pile of them at the flea market, and he was showing me one, and he's like, "This one's a couple grand." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And I looked it up. No kidding, it was, and it was like the Spectra Flame pink one that he found.
Do you have a picture of one? What are they like?
There's a van that has 2 surfboards hanging out the back of it, and I believe it's pink or like that magenta type color, and I want to say it's $50,000 to $100,000 for the car.
Yeah. Well, I think it was on Pawn Stars, right? And I think it was because of it was a prototype.
I think I saw that.
I don't know if it's a prototype, but I mean, I just know that the color is the same color that you're talking about.
I'm going out of garage sales. I'm always looking through old, cars that I always look at red lines. Even if they're beat up, red lines. I mean, parts and stuff, you want them.
Well, it's kind of the perfect toy. That's why it's lasted so long, because it's always been cheap. And even now, in today's world, where $5 practically doesn't buy you anything, it's $1 something, and they sell them in supermarkets and everything. And sometimes when you see toys in supermarkets, that's like the end, But they're in the supermarkets for a different reason. If you're somewhere and you need a gift, or you're with a kid and you want to buy him something, that is such a go-to easy win. To say, hey, pick out a Hot Wheels, because anything else you buy, you're spending $20.
The majority of my Hot Wheels as a kid came from the supermarket. Yeah, because it was always like we'd shop there, and my parents would get me one to shut me up.
Yeah,
and they were super cheap.
Yeah, they're probably 40 cents back then. All right. Well, that's I think that's going to do it for this topic. I think we've talked about it from a bunch of different angles, but I'm sure there's a lot of re-releases or reissues out there from other toy lines that we didn't even touch on. So I'd love to hear people chime in the comments and let us know what toy lines they collect, what reissues or re-releases. We're really talking about the same figures. We're not talking about a reimagining or a totally new sculpted line.
Correct.
We're talking about just money. It's the really money grabs. They're using the same molds. Maybe it's a slightly different paste, a paint spray app, but they're just trying to print money. They've already got the molds. They're just paying for the plastic.
Mattel's done the same thing with the Hot Wheels. They've reissued the same red lines with a different date on the bottom, so you got to watch out for that.
Oh, they've released modern versions. Well, I mean, that's a toy that lends itself to, hey, we could release this in 5 different color combinations.
Yeah,
they can do that, but that doesn't hit me the same way as releasing Ray and BB-8 4 freaking times in different cardboard. Like,
stupid.
It's stupid. But obviously that was always a cheap figure. You start getting to these figures that are
and you're not
$70, $80.
You're not paying $25 for a reissue red line either.
Right. All right. Well, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Let us know what you think of this conversation. Maybe we could revisit this again in the future if we have any interesting ideas or interesting toy lines. But a big shout to you, Adam. Thanks for joining us for another episode. We appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
If anybody likes what we're doing here, please check us out on Patreon, become a member, and you'll get some nice bonuses there. Early access to episodes and collectibles and all sorts of stuff. Brandon will do Instacart shopping for you, drop your groceries off. And he does that on Sundays only, though. Sundays is when he's free. Thanks very much for watching. We will see you next time on 5 Idiots Talking Toys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye,
Charles.
Bye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Good night, Charles.